All right, welcome back to the second tutorial video. And today we're going to be focusing on getting an NPC into our game and getting some dialogue going. So the first thing I want to mention is if you are from Divinity, if you have done modding with Divinity, which is the same tool as Baldur's Gate 3, you'll have a bit of a step up, but please do not skip around in this video just because there are some things that at the time of posting are broken in the dialogue editor, and there are some workarounds that we need to do. So first of all, this is our dialogue window, but I want to show you something because you're going to find this when you're just playing around with it, I think. And so I'm going to press File, New, Empty Dialogue, right-click, press Add Node Greeting, and usually, we just say, hey, how's it going, or something like that. If we press save it, doesn't super matter what we save it as because we're not going to use this file. Okay, it's going to save. Saved with an invalid structure, that's fine. We need to save it as an end node. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter because we're going to open it back up and you're going to notice all of our text is gone. Well, why is that? Well, what's happening is Baldur's Gate 3's toolset is trying to take all of the text that we pass through and pass it to their localization server, which would then go translate it into all of the different languages, do all that good stuff. Well, we do not have access to that. And so this is where our very, very talented developer on our Discord, whose handle is named Fetish, kind of went into the system and figured out a really good workaround that will be available as of today. As we post this video, we're releasing the toolkit that fixes this at the same time. And so I'm going to show you how this will work. So if we go over to translated string key and we go over to our mod folder, remember we're only ever making things in our mod folder. Under English, I'm going to do new and we'll just call this test. And key just needs to be something unique. Content is what we want to type in. How's it going? This is all we need in here. When we press these dots, it's actually going to copy the GUID, I don't know if we pronounce it GUID. I'm just going to call it the GUID to make it easier. But that's kind of the address, if you will, for this resource. And you're going to hear us talk about that a lot because every single object in our game has a GUID. And we use the references to say, hey, this is where the object is. So I say all of that to say, let's head back over into our dialogue editor now. Let's go back into new. Actually, we can just open our old one. That's fine. Double click. I'm going to, like I said, when we go over here and we press, oh, sorry, I need to save this. Control S to save. We shouldn't have a star there. Now I press this. Now I go back into the dialogue editor. When I paste it, it'll look like it's a bunch of nonsense, but this is that GUID that I was talking about. So if I press Control S, save here, and exit out of this, and save this, invalid structure, that's fine. I think I actually did this in a little bit of the wrong order. My apologies. I'm going to close out of this. The problem that I did, and you can learn from my mistake, is I need to close this, I need to save this before I get the GUID and before I open up the dialogue editor. Okay. Now let's try this. All right, I'm sorry. I don't know what was not working with that file. It doesn't matter because it was a throwaway file anyway. I just opened a new one. We'll do greeting. I'm going to copy and paste, hit save. And now you can see, even though I pasted nonsense in there, when I save and exit out, it actually links up and we can see where it said, it gave us an error before. Now we have perfectly linked text. And now when we save this, again, this is just a test file. This is not the one we're using. I'm just using this as an example of what is broken with the toolkit. Now, when we load it up again, it saves. All right, so all of that to be said, that's not where we're starting for dialogue. I did just want to show that to you because if you're like me and if you like to tinker with the tools, you are going to run into that, and it's better if we just address that right off the bat. So, how are we going to get an NPC into our game? Well, we're going to go over to root templates and we're going to right click on character, and I'm just going to type in merchant. Let's just get a merchant in here. And like I said in the first video, we never want to modify root templates from these folders that they are in. So instead, what we're going to do, we're going to right click and we're going to press create new from selected. We're going to make sure that this is under our mod folder. And we're going to name it something else. So we'll just add a 1. And we'll make the display name just tutorial character. I apologize for the cough. I have a really bad cold this week, but I'm trying to get these videos out for you as soon as possible. So I'll click create. Now I'm just going to go to here, and you can see we have this character now. I'm going to drag him in here. Let's go ahead and test out the game and see what happens. So we have tutorial character. Yay, our display name works. Everything is looking great. Now, what we want to do is we want to find a dialogue that is close in cinematics to what we want our final output to be. And here's why I say that. At time of posting, we do not have access to create new cinematics, meaning, when you start a dialogue in game, it creates this beautiful scene where it zooms in on the person you're talking to, and there's animations and lip syncing, and it's great. Well, we don't have access to create new ones of those right now. It crashes the engine. So what we're gonna do is we just want to find one that gets us close. So I'm going to click on this character, go over to sidebar, and it'll show you everything about the character. But I'm gonna search dialogue. And I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to use a guard dialogue. So let's try one of these real quick. This is all about testing. So let's talk to him. Perfect. So this is a totally fine dialogue. You zoom in, you talk to the person. Great. So that one was called. Oops, I'm still in game. Let me get out of that dialogue. That dialogue was called Worm Rock Prison Guard 1. So what we need to do is we need to go over to the resource manager. We'll open this back up. Make sure that we're not still just on terrain brushes like we were before. Need to really get this big. All right, there we go. Now we're going to center in on dialogue. We're going to go I think it was Worm Rock Prison, maybe? No. Let me just scroll down. Let's see if we can find that guard. Prison Guard 1. We're going to right click this, create new from selected like we did before. Go to our tutorial folder. What's in alphabetical order? What did I name my folder? Oh, new. We're looking for N. We'll just put it under dialogues. It doesn't really matter. We can leave that name the same for now too. That's fine. So now we have our own dialogue in here. However, you'll notice when we double click on it, we're not able to open the file, which is not ideal because we're trying to create our own text. But I might be jumping the gun a bit. I can't rename that. That's okay. Let's go ahead and let's set the dialogue to be this one instead. So this is our new one. let's test it out. We're just making sure, we want to test things every step of the way just to make sure nothing breaks. Okay, it's working great. So now we need to do something that is honestly a little bit tedious and a little not fun, and I really hope that we are able to come out with a version that fixes this in the future. But you need to now go to the description of the video and download a tool that was created actually for Divinity. It's by the same person that makes the script editor. Thank you, Nord. And it is the extraction tool. And what this does is it allows us to unpack those .pak files into their files. And so I have gone to the link in my description. I've downloaded this tool, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So this is my working folder, and I've downloaded this tool under packed. I'm going to click it, and I'm going to click Converter App. And then I am going to go over to Pack Tools, and I'm going to find Gustav.pak. You can kind of see where it's at. And I'm just going to put a destination. I like to call mine Unpacks. And then you'll click Extract Package, and it will take a few minutes. And what that does is it goes into that pack file, and it just unpacks it into all of the different files of the game. So we're looking for that dialog file that we created. And so I'm going to go into mods, and it's going to probably be in Gustav Dev or Gustav. Gustav Dev is actually the name of our story, our Baldur's Gate 3, like the original story. In Divinity, they called it Origins, and in Baldur's Gate, for whatever reason, they called it Gustav Dev. So we're going to click this. I know dialogues are under story, dialogues, and then I'm just going to search up here. You can't see my search bar because I have it zoomed in, but what did we call this? Worm Rock, and then Prison Guard 1. Okay, I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to go into a different folder. So I'm going to go into my Steam folder, into my Baldur's Gate 3 folder, into data. This is my Baldur's Gate 3 data folder. I'm going to click into mods. We're going to go into the new tutorial series. And then I'm just going to save this here. It doesn't really matter where it is. And then we're going to go back into the editor. We're going to go back into Resource Manager. We're going to go to that dialog that we just had up. All right, so back in here, we're going to find that dialog file we just had up, and we are going to change the source file to the file that we just put in our mods folder. So we press the three dots, go to our data folder, mods, find this, and we are going to change that. And now, if everything goes well, which it doesn't always because this is a buggy tool, when we double click it, we should bring up a working dialog folder. Yay! All right, we did it. So we are to the meat of the tutorial now. How does dialogue work in Baldur's Gate? Well, we notice a few things right off the bat. First of all, we have empty display names. We want to set the speakers. So to do that, we're going to go over here and click Edit. We are going to edit this first one, and we're going to remove, there's a blank one. We're going to remove that, and I'm going to filter by merchant because I want that merchant to be the character that we're speaking to. And then we want group players to be the second one. And so there are some flags over here. And you'll notice, I just want to say this again right off the bat. We're testing things, we're trying new things out. When we open dialogues, one of the things that we know is that different things happen based off of where you are at in the game. And so it looks like for this one, we have two nodes. It's just you've met him or you haven't met him. And so we can see here, if we've already met him, it gives us this line. If we haven't met him, it gives us this one. The criteria for what sets that is pretty simple, actually. If I bring this over here, we go to flags to set. So we haven't met him yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to set a flag saying that we've met that person. This is, I'm going to just go down through here. So it's a dialog flag that says, hey, we have met this guard. We chat him, we hit this node the first time, we set that flag. Flag is just a Boolean, it's an on or off value. We set it to true. And then on this one, we check to see if we've met him. So now this is under flag, so check. If we've met him, we hit this node. Okay, so to show you the full power of this engine, what I want to do is let's just make this a simple dialogue where the player is not supposed to be in the area that we're at, and there is a dice roll to see what happens. So the first thing we have to do is head back over to this. Let's change this just to say, hey, you're not supposed to be here. That'll be the merchant speaking. And then the player is going to have two options. The first option is they're just going to say sorry, and that's going to end the combat. Or, sorry. Sorry. Need to save that. What is happening here? We need to save the field first. Oh, I need to add a key. That's what I did. The player could just say sorry, and that will end the dialogue. Or they could also say, this is going to be a deception check, and they're going to say, oh, the king told me to be here. And then if that goes well, if that roll succeeded, the merchant's going to say, oh, yeah, no problem. And if that doesn't go well, they're going to say, well, you can't be here. Time to go. All right. So we'll save all of those fields. Then we're going to head back in here. We're just going to delete both of these. I've never tried deleting both nodes before, but I think it's going to go okay. We're going to go back to a greeting. This is going to be the merchant. We can see that part is true. Let's go ahead and grab that first dialogue. Again, clicking those three dots. Pasting the gibberish GUID in there. Hitting save, exiting out. Hey, you're not supposed to be here. And then we are going to right click and we're going to actually do a question. So this is a bit confusing, but general rule of thumb, greeting is the NPC, question is the player, answer is the NPC. So we're going to add two of these. Oops. Okay, we'll add our sorry field. That one is sorry. We will also add, oh, the king told me to be here. Okay. This one is going to be an end node. Everything needs to end with an end node. That just means, hey, dialogue is over. This one is going to lead to a active roll. So we're going to go ahead and press active roll. We're going to, we're just going to keep this also as, hey, the king told us to be here. You could put some helper text. This is the text that will show up when the roll is happening. We're going to go ahead down here. We're going to change this. Not raw ability. We want this to be skill, deception, ability, charisma. And we have to add a difficulty class. So you're not just going to set a DC. They're split up by Act 2, Act 3. You know, you're going to have to feel this one out a little bit. We're just going to set this to be an easy Act 1 check. If the roll is a success, we want an answer. If the roll is a fail, we also want an answer. We're going to head back over here. Oh, yeah, no problem. If the roll goes well. If the roll does not go well, well, you can't be here. It's time to go. And both of these need to be in nodes. If all goes well, we will not get an error when we save this. and you'll see we are. Ooh, we need to make sure we're not. I wanted to make sure we weren't saving over our original, but this is just what I named the file when I actually saved it, so that's fine. All right, we're going to save this. No error. That is a great sign. We're going to go reload the level and story whenever we make dialogue changes. It's just a good idea to do that just to make sure nothing's buggy about it. Let's go ahead and close out of the resource manager and move the root templates back over as well so we can get nice big dialogue on this. Okay, so now you can see we still have that dialogue up. Let's go ahead and click this. Hey, you're not supposed to be here. Sorry. Or we need to actually reload this. For some reason, it's not letting me repeat the dialogue. I have a feeling because I deleted the base node too that the cinematic did not stay the same. In earlier tests, when I don't delete that first greeting node, when I just change it, I don't have this problem and there is cinematics, but we are just trying to get dialogue working. Oh, the king told me to be here. It's going to be a deception roll. We can even add our guidance bonus. Oh, yeah, no problem. And that ends the dialogue. So, things are not perfect on here. When you do this correctly, there should be that zoom in effect on there. I have tested that. You're just gonna have to play around with it. Use different of the base game's dialogues. Uh, Maybe let people know in the comments what you have tried that have worked well for you. But this should get you going. This should be a good primer on it. Up next, we'll talk about how to actually make these dialogues affect things in the world. But for now, thank you. Join our Discord, and we'll see you next time.